Curls, you're doing a fabulous job. You're muted. I can't hear you.
I am muted.
I'm sitting
That's
here. I'm
not going
sitting
to
here
help.
talking all this wonderfulness about you, and you mute yourself. You kill me.
So here we are. Welcome, Tribers. This is your In Focus with Danny Ham. Danny, how are you?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited. Welcome everybody to this call. And yeah, I would love to know what the topic of today is.
The topic of today is we're going to talk about some mindset stuff. We're going to talk about some helpful shit, and then we're going to talk about some cool shit. So first I need to figure out how to work my computer because I'm a technological wizard, straight up, and a young one, Curls. We're going to talk, oh, there we go. The views and opinions expressed by me are totally owned and I'm fully responsible for. If you have a problem with them, email Curls and she will handle it immediately. Thank you, dear. All right, so I like going to gallery view so I can see everybody. Clint, what's up, my man? Good to see you, brother. All right, so today, let me find my Evernote thing here. Got just a topic I want to go over, talk about some stuff, and then, hang on, how do I make this? See, you would think I would remember this from one week to the next, and I just don't. I just don't.
Don't worry.
I got it.
Don't worry. It will come.
I got it.
Come slowly. And
baby steps. Baby steps. Yes. All right, cool, man. I got it. All right. So today, last week we talked a little bit about, well, before we do that, the commitments. I know from last week, there was a couple commitments. I know Mario could not join the call, but he committed to doing his website. And I can attest that he did it because he actually sent it to me. He said, Danny, here's my commitment. I did my website. And it was pretty awesome, actually. He did some stuff on there. I have no idea how he did it, but then again, that's not really my jam anyway. Right, girls? All right, so today, and my commitment was Shabir committed to sharing his experience with the world, which we know he all did. We don't even have to ask Shabir, right? Because he just raises the vibration level of the planet just by being himself. What's up, Peter? Charlie, Nasco. So, I committed to not checking my bank account for the whole month of February, and I've not done it. It's been tough a couple times because I had this opportunity to invest in something and I really don't know if I can, but that's okay. So I just did it anyway, and I figured it'll all work itself out, right? Like whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and it is what it is. Such is life, right? So, last week we talked about how the meaning that we attach to things affect our emotion, right? And so today I just want to talk a little bit about perspective of the mindset, right? About how, things don't happen to us, things happen for us, okay? So let me get some little notes here. All right. So I got a couple points on how to attach the right meaning to an event, right? Because these events that happen, it's not really the event that causes us to feel a certain way. It's the emotion that we attach to it, right? So if we look at things from the perspective of, like our worst days can be our best days if we find a way to attach an empowering meaning to that event, as opposed to a negative meaning to it, right? Like the state of mind that we're in at the time can determine our ability to place an empowering meaning or a negative meaning and all that, right? And as y'all know, gratitude is my jam. So if we can be in a state of gratitude, we are much more likely to attach a powering meaning to something than if we're in a state of, say, resentment or negativity, or something to that effect, right? So most of us know someone who always sees the positive side of a situation. Like you have that person in your life that it doesn't matter what's going on, they find the good, right? It could be raining when you're trying to go outside and they say, oh, well, it's water in the grass, right? Or they find something positive in every situation. So I had a cool example of this this week. So there's this dude I hired, right, to come clean our windows, for example. So, and I always try to look for these positive experiences, right? So this guy, and when I say clean our windows, I don't mean just like clean the glass, right? Because that would be lazy of me to do. But I'm talking about like the window jams, I don't know if that word translate, but like the inside of the windows that gets all dirty and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and our house is old. It's like 1946, which I guess for Europe that would be like modern, but for here, that's like really old. Okay. And this apparently hasn't been done in a long time. Paul, Rob Sewell, what is up, my man? So um, he came over, and our windows apparently are something completely different than this guy has ever seen. Okay. It has like two windows. Apparently, they put old windows on the outside instead of just buying double insulated windows. They just put more windows on top of the other windows, right? Which I didn't really notice. I just figured our windows were a pain in the ass and I didn't know how to open them. Okay. So this guy came and he saw this whole thing, and he'd already given me a price to clean all of these windows, right? Which, I mean, I wouldn't hold him to just because it's more work than he expected. But this guy's attitude was just amazing. You know, the first thing he said wasn't, this is going to cost you more money, or, you know, this is too big. He just said, man, this is a great opportunity to learn how to do something new. And the next time I run into this in another person's house, I'll know what's going on. And I was like, love the attitude. I will help you. Okay. So I ended up helping this guy, pay him to clean all my windows, you know, and we both learned something. And, you know, the guy's attitude about it, it controlled the situation. You know, I mean, how he responded to that. And this is just a silly example, but it just happened. So it's fresh in my mind, you know, but the attitude that he had made that negative experience something empowering, where he learned something, you know, and I couldn't be happier with the job. Turned out the guy was in recovery. So he and I had this killer conversation about life. He started talking about taking his own inventory. So I, of course, brought up some stuff. And anyway, we just had an awesome conversation and a great experience that was all predicated on the fact that this guy had a good attitude in the face of, you know, some type of adversity, right? We all know someone who's the opposite, right? Who finds the negative in every situation. You know, like the person that wins the lottery and bitches about having to pay the taxes. You know what I mean? Like there's people from both perspectives, and whatever mindset we choose to be in is going to determine if we're able to attach empowering emotions to these things that happen. Okay. So, you know, there's three major types, you know, of focus, right? So which one of these are you? Just ask yourself, right? The first, focus more on what you have or what's missing. You know, most people focus on what's missing, you know, which is good from the perspective of learning where to grow. But it kind of robs us of the ability to be happy in the moment. You know, the second kind is, you know, do you tend to focus more on what you can control or what you can't control? You know, everyone has both, but we generally have a predominant pattern, right? And if we focus on what's missing all the time, what we can't control, we're generally probably going to be angry or sad or depressed or all three, right? So, you know, just think for a second. You know, do you know anyone who takes antidepressants but is still depressed? Okay, not that those aren't necessary in some areas, okay, but that's very common over here, and I would assume everywhere, you know, and it's because people haven't dealt with the power of the meanings that they've made up on what they focus on. You know, when something happens, it never works for me, or it's not worth it, or I'm different, or life isn't fair, you know, and these are all programs that we have in our mind to beat ourselves up. You know, if we place derogatory meanings on everything, we'll have a destroyed emotional life, right? All of a sudden, then we're acting out of that, right? So this meaning that we're attaching to these emotions is going to control our actions, because that's just the state that we're in, you know? So if we could just change the pattern of what we focus on to what we can control, you know, versus what we can't control, and what we do have, and be grateful for it, and noticing what's not there, I mean, we can handle that and grow in that area, but we can do it without dwelling on the lack, you know? And the third type is, you know, do you focus more on the past, the present, or the future? Most people who are, you know, achievers, you know, they focus on the future. And most people who have a lot of pain focus on the past, you know, and a lot of people who focus on the present tend to have some joy, but they might not always accomplish as much, right? Now, there is no right or wrong. But learning how to use the past, you know, with a little bit of our time to grow from, and the present, so we can be fulfilled, and the future, you know, so we can anticipate and create what we want, is a good balance. You know, if we're in that mindset of that growth mindset, we can use all three of those to our advantage without dwelling in any of them, right? So, you know, a couple things that can change our life if we can master them, I read this book last week and I had this in there. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, right? So, one is mastering the science of achievement. Okay. Like we've all achieved something, whether it be a certain job or, income level, relationship, recovery, children, spirituality, something, right? We've achieved something. So now we just have to take the process or whatever we did in that area and apply that to whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. We have the tools. We know how to achieve. We just have to put it to another area of our life. And generally it's another area that's probably more uncomfortable for us, right? So we kind of have that fear of even starting to do it. But if we can make ourselves do that, we can be achievers in all other areas, and the other is, the mastering, like the art of fulfillment, right? Which is kind of a buzzword, right? And isn't really used in the proper term in my opinion. Fulfillment comes from service and there's a lot to it, but, in fulfillment, we've got this incredible, like, if we have all this incredible achievement, right? And we accomplish all this stuff and we aren't fulfilled, what do we really have, right? Like, money is money. Okay. Things are things, stuff is stuff, Tony Robbins has this quote. I'm sure everybody's heard: success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. I love that. How many people have you seen who have everything and they're miserable, or they're just not happy people, right? So stuff doesn't make us happy, and this example I heard him give was of Robin Williams, right? Does anybody not know who Robin Williams is? The comedian, actor, like legendary, funny dude, right? Bless you, Rob. So, he was considered a massive success, master of his craft. Okay. Had all these accomplishments, right? Like he went to Hollywood, said, I'm gonna have my own show. He did it, and he said, I'm gonna have the #1 show. And he did that, right? And he said, I'm gonna make more money than I can ever spend. Definitely did that, went out there and said, I'm gonna have an amazing family. He did that, I want to make movies, did it. He said, I'm going to win an Academy Award for not being funny, which is like his #1 skill, right? And he did that, and then he hung himself in his own home, so it doesn't matter how successful we are, how great our life appears to be on the outside. If we don't master fulfillment, right, then just the stress of life, it makes all this stuff worse and it piles up. And a lot of times people don't see that, and too much emphasis, in my humble opinion, is placed on just the achievement part, without the fulfillment part, and it's been my experience, the people that I've witnessed, in this community, out of this community, and life in general, the people that focus on fulfillment get the achievement. It doesn't have to be the other way around. If we put our heart into being fulfilled and serving others and, being at peace in our mind and just doing that next right thing, we generally going to wind up achieving some more stuff, so, one way, so I try to think, well, how do we make that actionable? And we talked about it some on this call. For me, one thing that's really helped me a lot is my morning routine, right? To me, it's how and all I have is my experience, right? So I don't know shit. This is just what works for me. Okay. So how I start my day really, really, really sets the stage, I guess you would say, so, I got to condition my mind, my body, my spirit to be in a good place. I find that people who have energy are happier, and energy is not generally drinking a bunch of Red Bull. You know what I mean? It's having energy, it's being healthy, it's being positive. And for me, that's grounded in the morning, and not everybody is a morning person. I didn't used to be a morning person. Like I wake my ass up super early, but I did that in like 15-minute increments over the course of several months, a few years ago. And it's gotten to this point now. Like I remember Clint made the commitment on our first call not to hit snooze. Okay. To me, that is so important, because if we hit snooze, then what do? First thing we're doing is immediately negotiating with ourselves, right? Like we're immediately investing the energy to negotiate against what we know is best for us and what we set before we went to bed that we wanted to do in the morning. And it's all unconscious and subconscious, and we just snooze, and that just starts our day in a negative space, you know? So my morning routine for me is, you know, the alarm goes off, I get up. Even if I set it for the wrong time and it goes off in the middle of the night, I get up and don't realize it until I'm up, because that's the routine, right? The alarm goes off, I roll over, I hit my knees, the first words out of my mouth are thank you. Talk to my God a little bit, you know, come out, I reach out to my recovery network, and I go to the gym and take care of my physical health. And then when I come home, I meditate for a little while, you know? And for me, you know, I'm handling my spirituality, my emotional life, my mentality, my recovery, and my physical life before 8 o'clock in the morning, you know? And so now I have that foundation that it doesn't matter what happens throughout the day. Like, you don't get busy and, oh, I didn't get to go to the gym, or, oh, I got busy and I didn't get a chance to pray or meditate or whatever, right? Whatever it is that you do, that's your thing that makes you feel at peace, right? To have some serenity. It doesn't happen because you do it first thing, you know, like I don't check my emails in the morning. I don't get involved with that because that'll own my headspace, and then I'm not really going to be present, you know, for that me time, you know? So, the discipline to do that is not easy. Like, I totally understand that, you know, I've experienced that. I like Jim Rohn. I don't know if you guys know who Jim Rohn is, but he's like the original Tony Robbins. He's old school, you know. He used to always say that the two major pains in life are the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. You know, if we discipline ourselves with this morning routine, or whatever your morning routine happens to be, whatever makes you feel centered. You know, I was listening to some guy last week, and he just said he just starts his day with 2 hours of silence. That's what centers him. You know, he just sits there for 2 hours in silence. Now, I know a lot of people have a bunch of kids. You probably have to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to do that. But regardless, whatever it is that makes you feel centered, just do that. I mean, just make the decision to do that and put yourself in that mindset and start your day with some gratitude that you're able to do that. You know, I know we talk about gratitude a lot, but if we're in that grateful mindset, you know, it's impossible to feel angry and grateful at the same time. It's impossible to have fear and gratitude at the same time. Like, we just can't do that, you know? So if we can condition ourselves to start our day in gratitude, it's really, really gonna come through the rest of the day, right? It's gonna help us control our circumstances instead of our circumstances controlling us. You know, I tell the guys I work with, I always say, own the day. You know, if you don't own the day is going to own you, right? So you might as well set it up and start with a little bit of discipline to where you can own the day, and you'll feel much better about it. You know what I mean? So when you're feeling overwhelmed, bad shit's happening. This sounds super, super simple, but just take a little time out and breathe, man. Like, breathing is the most basic part of life, and a lot of us don't do it. Have you ever noticed if, like, you're stressed out or stuff's going on, if you actually pay attention, you're taking shallow breaths, like or holding your breath, which you can't do that for very long, but you're not breathing, you know? So if we just take some time out, 2 minutes, focus on a little gratitude and breathe, it will absolutely change your state. It will absolutely change your mindset if you just focus on some breathing, you know? And there's like a million breathing techniques out there. They probably all work. The one that I use is just super, super basic. Is I just inhale for a count of 4, hold my breath for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 6. That's it. Just do that a few times, and just try it later today, whenever. Do it now if you want. I'm telling you right now, if you try that right there, it will put your mindset in a better place. You know, so that's something that I learned a few years ago, and it's been really, really helpful for me. I do it a few times a day, you know, because I'm obsessive, man. Like, I get worked. Like I have this list of things in my mind, even though I try not to write shit down anymore, is in my mind, you know, and I'll just get myself worked up because I haven't done all this. So I have to stop, go sit in my chair that I had designated for my breathing chair. You know, it's not a really great chair. It puts me in a different state of mind when I go sit there. You know what I mean? And you just breathe a little bit, man. It's very, very helpful. So, so what's one thing real quick? So I just wanted to cover some of that this morning. I got some more stuff I want to talk about, but I want to make this a little interactive. So what's one thing that you do in the morning that serves you personally to start your day? I know someone has a positive habit. Let me move my little thing here so I can see. Caroline.
What's up, dude?
You, man.
Yeah, I follow Stuart's advice now, and I start playing music. first thing in the morning. I've got a playlist set to play for half an hour, and I noticed when I stopped doing it and I started doing it again, it does help shift my state and get me in a more positive mood first thing.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Right on. Clint, you still doing no snooze, bro?
No snooze. My routine is I have a little bench that's in my closet. It barely fits in there, but it's where I sit down to put my socks on in the morning. And that's where I do my meditating before I even get out of the closet. I get in that closet, put my socks on, and I sit there because it's quiet. Nobody's up yet, and it's my perfect space to start the day. And then from there, I grab a cup of coffee, sit down again, check my emails, and then I head to work. But that 5 to 15 minutes that I sit there it's crucial. It's one of those things that just puts me in a great mood, and I miss it. If I don't do it, it's not a good. I can tell. The rest of my day just kind of goes sideways. So
Yeah, like before it was a part of your day, you didn't even realize it, but now that you're in the habit of doing it, like man, how did I ever get by not without this?
I feel rushed if my day starts off without it. I feel rushed, and I've had the incident recently where I got a call because one of my employees was in an automobile accident. So I was awakened out of bed by the call, got up, did everything, and my whole day went that way. The whole day it was all rushed the whole day, and it's because I didn't get that time to relax. I think that even if I would have been able to do that small meditation before getting the phone call, it would have been a better situation for me. My day would have been a little bit more at ease and been able to deal with some of this smoother. It was just a crazy day that day. But yeah, I like my 5 to 15 minutes of time. I don't time it. I just sit there until I feel like I'm ready to get up. And I've gone like 35, 40 minutes already, just trying to clear my mind, breathe, and listen to my breath. Just try not to fall asleep sitting up, because I've done that before too. So,
I know, man. I'm glad you're making that part of your day, brother. I think that's huge, man. That makes me happy.
It is. It's huge. It is huge. It's huge for me for sure.
I love it, man. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Dana.
You had your hand up, brother. Hilton, I got you next, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Shabir. Then we'll get you next, brother. Yeah, Hilton.
Oh, Shabir, yeah, okay.
Hilton, please go ahead.
You're already talking, Shabir. Knock it out, brother.
Hello, everyone. Good to see Rob again here. Thank you, Rob, for coming to our call. I'll call it our calls, not just Denny's call.
It is our call, man.
Yes. My routine, it works so well for me. Like at night time, when I go to bed, I say to my mind, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. And I don't put the alarm. It's just become that routine. 5 a.m. I'm up. And as soon as I wake up, straight in the bathroom, and I get my cold shower. I used to be scared. Now I'm enjoying it. I'm in love with it. I get that cold shower, and straight away the routine after that is appreciation, visualization, and then I do my meditation in the bathroom. And after that, it's like become a custom in my house. Like my wife, if she comes, she wants to tell me something early in the morning, she says, "Oh, I'm sorry." She just waits until I finish all the routine. So once I've done that, after the meditation, I'll do 5 minutes of training inside my bathroom to just put more oxygen in my lungs. And from there, straight to the room and sitting and reading my book for 2 hours. From 5 till 9 a.m., it's just my time. And how you said, Danny, to own the day. And from 9 a.m., so nothing can change. And like I got my day and I'm energetic and I can do anything I want. So morning is so important. And if you, once you get used to it, and once you say to yourself, this is must, and it become a habit, and nothing changed. Like tonight, it finished, this call finished at 2 a.m. my time, and I'm up at 5 a.m. To get that sleep back in the afternoon, I get 1 or 2 hours sleep. But to not change my routine 5 a.m., I still get up at 5 a.m. After I go to bed at 2 a.m. tonight. So I just work on that, and it's so powerful. It is so powerful. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, man. Hilton.
Okay. One of the things I started doing over the past couple of years, before I get out of bed, I tend to hold my fists like this on both hands, and I'll go through 10 things which I appreciate, which I'm grateful for, and I'll go through one and just think it through in my mind. And it could be, well, I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for, and you go through it and you really, sometimes it brings me tearful of how grateful I am to be in this position in this day, which is ahead of me. And then when I swing around and I get out of bed, my left leg and my right foot, I always go, thank you. As soon as I hit the ground, that I am in another day of appreciation. And that's how I started, I think for the past couple of years, my day. And I think it has made a massive difference to my gratitude.
Dude, that is powerful, man. I love it. I love the idea with the fists and the 10 things. I'm gonna steal that from you. I'm gonna tell people. I'll give you credit for it when I steal it.
I normally charge.
I love that, man. For real. I think that's amazing. You know, and like when you talked about, you know, you can get tearful or whatever when you're thinking of the things you're grateful for. That means you're attaching emotion to that. You know, you're not just saying I'm grateful for my family. Like you're feeling that gratitude, you know, and that's what that's what roots it inside of us. You know, like if we think of being excited, like on a roller coaster or something, like if you just think of being on a roller coaster,
absolutely.
But if you think about how you felt when you're right up over the top and you're about to go and you put yourself there with that emotion, it has power. That was excellent, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else want to share a little piece of their morning routine? Hey, Veronica.
Hello, everybody. I want to share what is a part of my morning routine. Every morning I read from 3 books. These 3. On each page they have a certain quotation on the specific day. So these are books of Sri Chinmoy, and they are very inspiring and setting your mind in the right position, focus, and the intention for the day. And this is the book of Mava, Mira Alfasa book. These are her daily letters towards God, and I like to read these letters, and they're very inspiring and focusing on the right thing and intention. And thank you, Hilton, for sharing your experience and gratitude for the children. It just reminded me that I became more aware about the gift we have being parents. And recently I noticed that I'm so busy on listening to webinars and calls, and I wake up and straight away try to put my mind into this work, and the evenings is always busy when they come home. And I realized that I have to get in contact with them intentionally. So I force myself to go into their room, hug them, and tell them why I am appreciated, what qualities in them I do appreciate, and yeah, this is good. I feel that makes us getting closer to each other.
I completely agree. I love that.
Every day.
I appreciate you sharing that. I think reading something like that each day too is powerful. You know, when you put yourself, we have this thing called Just for Today that I read, but it's just every day it's just something different, and it just gives you something to think about, you know, and experience and help with gratitude. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to share a little part of their morning? Nasco, what's up, dude?
Hey, Danny. Happy to be here and to see all these beautiful faces. Guys, I just wanted to add a few more things because I think everybody has a routine of some sort. I just wanted to add a little bit on the Hilton's routine of putting his feet on the ground. For me, for quite some time, it has been also an experience that when I put my feet on the ground, I'm happy that I'm above the ground and not under, which keeps me, you know, in the presence of being alive and the appreciation of everything that has been given to me. I also adopted your, you know, kind of recipe of, you know, being grateful for a few things in the previous day while brushing my teeth. So that was really important for me because it was just this mini moment of, okay, what I'm going to do while I'm brushing my teeth. I mean, that was really interesting. And one more thing, which I'm curious whether you guys are having similar experiences, that I practice Tai Chi in the morning. And the version that I practice is a Taoist Tai Chi, which is like 108 elements for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. You can combine a meditation, movement, and breathing at the same time. And this is what I'm trying to actually practice and master. So this keeps me pretty much awake in the early morning. And it doesn't matter if it rains, if it's cold or warm, I just wrap myself and I go out and do something with that. Is there anyone who's practicing, let's say, moving meditation? I'm curious and how it feels.
Not me so far. I'm still working on the getting still meditation. I'm not at your level yet, bro.
I guess my morning, sorry, I'll jump in. I guess my morning is spent on a moving meditation because since I left work, didn't move my body enough. So I've now started with getting on my bike, and I go and cycle at least 10 miles first thing in the morning. That's my routine. So yeah, it's starting to have an effect. I'm starting to feel better and fitter.
I love it, man. Good for you. Get your blood flowing in the morning. Are you in the UK, Steve?
Yeah, certainly am.
You guys that get out and go out in that cold, much respect. I seen a video, a couple ones of Rob just walking, and I almost had to go put on a jacket watching the video. That is insane. We've had storms. A lot of respect for you guys braving that, man.
We've had storms the last couple of weeks. So the route I've been taking is a tailwind on the way out, and I've been absolutely flying. It's brilliant, and you don't feel the wind, and then you turn around and come back, and the headwind gives you a pretty damn good workout. It has to be said.
I bet, man. I bet. Anybody else want to jump in on the roots? Hey, what's up, Paul?
Hey, what's up? How are we doing? Excuse me a second. Yeah, I meditate early in the morning. I'd love to do a moving meditation, Nasco, but I sit on a bench in Acton Park. So I get up at, my alarm goes off at 4:25. I kind of stay in bed for 15, 20 minutes, just kind of slowly waking up, have a cold shower. I have half a litre of water for breakfast. Then I get on my bike and I cycle to Acton Park, which is about 25 minutes away. I sit on a bench in the park and meditate for 45, 50 minutes. And I've had a couple of occasions actually this winter where my core temperature has dropped to such a level that I can't get warm again. So the park is just outside of the gym that I go to. So I'll meditate for 45, 50 minutes and then go into the gym and train or have a swim. And I don't realize how cold I am while I'm in this high state of meditation. And then I'll go to the gym and I'll be freezing. My core temperature has dropped. And I go into the spa, the sauna, the steam room. And I've even stood in a hot shower for half an hour with it on full hot, which usually is too hot, it burns your skin. And I'm stood under this hot shower for half an hour and I still can't get warm. So I've got to be a bit careful about that because that's kind of dangerous, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah. Frostbite, from what I hear, is pretty negative experience.
Yeah, and it's a bit frightening because you just can't get warm. You feel the cold in your bones, and if that's not bad enough, I've actually caught a guy sneaking up on me in Acton Park. Yeah, but luckily I felt his energy. I felt the energy of somebody close by, because in that state you're so kind of connected with your environment. And I was sat on there's a tree with a round bench around the trunk of the tree. So there's always, you've always got your back somewhere. It's a 360-degree bench. And I felt quite uncomfortable for some reason. I got up to put a jacket on from out of my bag. And as I turned to face the trunk, I saw a dark shadow, because it's in the winter, it's pitch black dark, of course, early in the morning before dawn. And I saw a dark shadow approaching the tree, but it was going around the other side of the tree, away from where I could see. So the guy was sneaking up on me. And he said to me, I saw him, and he said, "What you doing?" And I said, "What you doing?" And this is the scary part. He said to me, "You're here every night, same time, right here." So he'd obviously seen me over and over again. I would never have imagined I could have been seen by anybody. It's in the middle of a park, which is under a tree, and it's pitch black. So it kind of freaked me out. And I realized how stupid I'd been, how vulnerable, a vulnerable position I'd put myself in. So with that, and potentially risking my life with allowing my core temperature to drop down, yeah, one should be very careful. That's my advice.
One should be
careful.
Extreme meditation. It's like, no.
But I start the day off. It's brilliant. I start the day off brilliantly, and like you say, Danny, it's your day then. It sets up the day. And I'd just like to say also, while I'm on the call, while I've got the platform, if I may, that I was a night person for like 48 years. So in 2018, I decided to start getting up early, and I turned myself into a morning person. But for most of my life, it was painful to get up in the morning, physically painful. I couldn't do it. So I don't think that we're really, I've got this idea, I don't think that we're really anything, that we're always just a result of our habits and what becomes comfortable for us. And we can choose to be whatever we want to be. You want to be a morning person, be a morning person. You're not either or. That's my experience.
Completely agree, brother. I wake up at the time I used to go to bed, like pretty much. What popped in my head when you were talking about the meditating and the being dangerous, and people say, what do you do for danger and excitement? I meditate, All right, man. Anybody else want to share something on a morning routine? All right. So today I want to plant a seed, right? About the little things. Okay. So, we talk about gratitude for big things, really grateful for everything, but, like I'm a big ass kid, right? So I like little things. Little things make me happy. You know what I mean? Like just silly, innocuous things, right? So like I have, and I'm gonna ask some of you guys if you have any little things that make you smile or happy. So just so you know. So I got this book. Actually, my mom got me this book a little while ago, and it's just a bunch of these little Post-it notes in it, right? And it says cool things like, be the change you wish to see. Who's awesome? You're awesome. It doesn't matter what others are doing. It matters what you're doing. Just all these little positive things, right? So I go and I put these stickers in different places, right? Because that makes me happy, and you can write on them, obviously, because they're a Post-it note. And well, nobody can read what I write, but you know, if you have good handwriting, people can read what you write. But this is printed, so the main message is printed, so there's no mistaking it, right? So this is just something I do that's silly. It's just a little thing, man, that makes me smile, and generally it'll make the recipient smile, you know. And I have I'll share one more thing. So I did it. I think I might have done a video on this, like in the 90-day video thing. So when I was a kid, okay, like, I don't know, 7, I guess, right? When my parents got divorced, my mom worked at this beauty salon, right? This hair shop. And I went there to get my hair cut. And this lady used this shampoo on my hair. And I thought it was the most amazing shampoo in the history of the world. Okay. It's Paul Mitchell Tea Tree Shampoo, right? And so she got some for the house, and she's like, this is very expensive. So use it sparingly, you know? And so I did, you know, I kind of used it sparingly. And then whenever I got to be, and I enjoyed it. Like, I was excited to use this shampoo. I know it sounds ridiculous, but whatever, it's the little things, right? So, you know, when I got a little older, like, I saw it where I was getting my hair cut, and I bought some. Okay. And it's like $20, right? Which, you know, that's not really expensive, but if you're a single mom and you got 2 kids, and $20 is expensive compared to, like, I guess $5, right? Whatever shampoo costs, you know what I mean? So when I got my own, I started using it every day, right? And then after a while, it wasn't a big deal anymore. That was just the shampoo that I used. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't cool. It wasn't special anymore. So a few years ago, when I learned to get some perspective, you know, I thought about this, right? Because I was actually thinking about things at this point. And I figured, well, maybe you should use it less, you know, so you could get excited about your shampoo. You know what I mean? So, like, this is it. Like, I have it, like, to this day. Okay. So Amy has a cool bottle now. The bottle didn't used to be this cool. Now even the bottle is cool. Right. But so I buy this, man, and I use this like on special days for me. Okay. So, like, during football season, like when my Gators play or something, like, I will use this shampoo, you know. When I didn't live with my girlfriend, the days I was going to get to see her, I would use this shampoo, right? So, like, this morning, like every day before this call, I use this shampoo because I'm really excited to spend time with you guys, and I'm super grateful, you know, for the opportunity to be in your space. You know what I mean? So it sounds silly, man, but it really does make me smile. It really does make me happy just using this ridiculous shampoo. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there. Just think about that. You know what I mean? Because we have these things in our life that we take for granted, that if we just took a minute to appreciate it and make us smile, or maybe if we made something less just part of the routine and appreciated it, it could be cool, man. Does anybody else have anything ridiculous or something small that they appreciate that they would like to share?
Yeah, I do.
Or we're just gonna end that session on my shampoo. I mean, yes, Veronica.
I like long, large skirts. You know? That
Skirt.
makes me feel happy. And
Nice.
feminine, and like I'm flying, you know, walking around the house in these skirts.
Good for you. Maybe I'll try that. You never know. Paul.
I love a nice suit. I've got a wardrobe full of awesome suits. I had a suit addiction back in the day, and I used to have suits made for me from Savile Row, of all places. But I don't get to wear them anymore. And I've got a lovely wardrobe full of awesome clothes, which I really don't get to wear. But a nice suit was my thing. And I always feel great in a nice suit.
Right on, brother. I remember on my first bucket list I made when I was like 23 years old, I had on there, have a huge, nice tie collection and never have to wear any of them. That was on my bucket list. And I have now accomplished that so far. I mean, you know, as long as I don't have to go back to a real gig, I've accomplished that one thing on my bucket list for sure.
Sure.
Right. Anybody else got something they want to share? Caroline.
Yeah, for me, it's fairy lights. We put some fairy lights up here for Christmas, like Christmas lights around the house. And when it came to the end of Christmas, I was like, I'm not taking them down. And
Nice.
now when I want to feel good, I just turn the fairy lights on, and it just makes me
I
smile.
love it.
And it makes other people smile too.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Every day is Christmas if you make it like that. You know what I mean? I love it. All right, guys. Well, I've got a quick story that I want to share because you guys know I like some stories, man. So I found this and I just wanted to read it to you guys. I think it's super cool. So basically the motto of this is think and ask before you decide. There's two sides to every story. So there was a watchman who always used to open and close the gates and then greet the house owner, but the owner never responded to him. The watchman thinks the house owner is a little arrogant, doesn't want to talk to some poor watchman. So every day after work, he searches the garbage for food, whatever's left over by the owners he takes, and that's his dinner. One day he was searching for food and he finds a bag of edibles in this well-packed Ziploc. It actually said a poly, but I don't know what a poly is. So I use Ziploc because I assume that word translates, right? He didn't understand who put it there and why someone did it, right? This goes on for several years till the owner passes away. After the owner's death, he searches daily and he never got that bag again. Without that food, it was again difficult for him to feed himself and his family with as little salary as he gets. So he went to the owner's wife and asked for a raise. When he asked for the salary raise, the owner's wife questions him why he didn't come ask for the raise sooner and had been working with such a little salary for so long. He tells her about the bags of food he used to get every day, and for this reason, his salary was enough for his family, but now it stopped. The owner's wife got tears in her eyes and said, "You're the fifth one telling this story. My husband used to help everyone he can. Don't worry, you'll have your raise." So again, for the next day, he starts to get the bag from the food in the same place. This time he understands that it must be the owner's son. Every day he greets the owner's son, even when he never replied to the watchman. One day, nearly fed up with this, he shouted out to the owner's son, "Sir, thank you." The owner's son turns and said, "Sorry, I didn't hear you. I have a hearing problem just like my father." Moral of the story. There are two sides to every story. Someone may seem arrogant, jealous, or egotistical, but it will always be better to first know the two sides of every story than to reach any final decision. You may be right, but you may be wrong as well. We should never be judgmental and decide the character of a person just by their behavior. I read that and that was cool. I just want to share it with you guys. I like that, right? Because we don't know what other people are going through at the time. They might be fabulous. They're just dealing with some shit, right? So for this week, I've got the action items, okay? I'm excited about this one, right? So by the way, last week's action item, the read the Optimist Creed every day. Did anybody do that? Caroline? No, I did that. I love it. And I read it out loud so that I could hear myself do it. And it was pretty cool. I don't know that it necessarily changed my life or anything, but it definitely did not make my day any worse to read some positive shit, all right? So this week's action item is to do something outside of yourself for someone else, okay? So this doesn't have to be some grand gesture, right? This could be anything, just one thing, right? So I Googled ways to be of service near me, right? To just pull up some places. So I got a few examples here, okay? And like it has, go shopping for an elderly neighbor, mow your neighbor's grass, or if you're across the pond, shovel their driveway, I guess, because there's probably no grass right now, right? There's this kid, I'll call him a kid, who goes to my mom's assisted living facility and just plays the piano, just volunteers his time. He just goes there for, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, something like that, because he has this skill, right? And it makes these people's day. So he just goes and like plays the piano for them, right? Just something simple like that. Okay. Maybe always let others speak before you for 2 weeks. Just, say hi, of course. Don't be rude. Nobody likes a rude person, but let them speak, before you speak. Be a mentor to someone. If you owe an apology, it's weighing on you, make it genuinely, compliment someone. Give away books that you've read. If you're at a social event or a party or something and you see someone who feels out of place, go talk to them, right? That doesn't cost you anything. Pay for a stranger's coffee behind you, right? That's kind of a thing over here. That's becoming a thing over here, which I think is pretty neat. Give up your seat, if you're on the tube or the subway or whatever, I mean, not to be sexist, but if you're a dude and a lady gets on, you should give her your seat anyway. Like that's just life shit. You know what I mean? Or an older person, whatever, right? Like just give up your seat, if you're able. That's all I'm saying. help someone with a do-it-yourself project, right? Like I had to do a backsplash at my house, and a buddy drove a couple hours to come and help me do that, man. You know how grateful I was? Like, you know how good that made me feel? And I got to hang out with a friend, you know what I mean? So he enjoyed it. But just if you know how to do something and you know somebody that needs a hand, go give them a hand, right? Handwrite a personal thank you card to somebody for something. You don't have to know them. You could have got a good experience at a store and just write a review or tell the manager that this person did an exceptional job. If you've ever managed people, that, I think it's like 12 to 1. You'll get 12 complaints for every one compliment that you get, right? So just take a minute and compliment someone. Tell them they did a good job. Tell their boss they did a good job, or tell them you appreciate them. It only takes a minute, right? So like what's 168 times? There's 336 hours before the next call. Just take like one of those, right? Or 10 minutes of that or whatever. And just do something to get outside yourself and be of service for somebody else. So what I'm going to do is like I volunteer at it's called Feeding America here. I've done that a few times. And when I signed up for it the other day, I'm doing that actually the Thursday after this call. I'm going for like 3 hours, and you help box this food for, people that need food, right? And when I think of the things I want to do, like I was reading this book and it talked about, if you didn't have to work for money, if you could do anything, what would you do? And in my head, I've always wanted to like mentor kids. You know what I mean? Like we have this thing over here called the Boys and Girls Club. I don't know if that's international or not, but it's basically for kids who it's not cool to go home after school, right? And they need something positive environment, whether it's sports or education or whatever, So, and I've never done it, and I thought, well, why haven't you done it? Well, because it seems like a pain in the ass to be able to have to do it, right? You got to go through this whole background check and all this stuff. But that's really what I want to do, and I think although I like feeding people, and I think that's a big part and it makes me feel good, I think I've chosen that because I'm lazy, because it's close to the house and it's easy to do. And someone is kind of directing me on what I do, So I went and I filled out the application to mentor these kids, right? Like I don't have the same life experience as them. Like I'm pretty blessed with the way that I grew up, but I've made a ton of mistakes, and I can relate to some of that stuff, right? So if I can share some of that experience with them, I don't know, man, it might make a difference, Hopefully it won't make it worse, but it will probably be positive. So that's what I've done to be in action instead of just talking, right? So that's my example. So I'm gonna ask you guys on the next one what you did for somebody else. It's so simple, man. Make somebody's day, and it just takes a minute. All right, cool. Does anybody have anything they want to share? Any ideas they know they're gonna do? Before I throw up the book of the week, Shabir, what's up, dude?
All right, book of the week. I have got this book that last time you mentioned.
Yes.
It's here for me to read it. But what you said to do, it's part of my daily life, Danny. Because for me to be happy, to be fulfilled, I have to help. I have to do something for someone. And if I got nothing to do and I'm at home and just to stay, like work on my laptop, I go in my backyard and I take some food with me. I put it on the grass and the birds comes and eat it and sing a bit there, and that makes me even happy. So it's best way to do it. And I just discovered 2 days ago and I'm excited about it. Some of you might know, but this is my plan to do a 12 to 15 hours walk for Victoria Promise, Stockholm, Sweden on 20th of June. Initially, I started with Mark Ford, but unfortunately, Mark Ford, he can't do it. And he sent me that message, but I said, it's okay, Mark, I do it by myself. So I'm doing that, but what I have done, it makes me really sad. I mentioned last time in the call that every Friday night, we're watching about Afghanistan, Kabul city, every city, this reporter goes and he talks to the poor people and he does all those kind of things. And I was thinking what way I can find to send money and feed those people, because there's a lot of dishonest people. I used to send money and I found out that the money is not going to the right people. But I found that this organization, they're in England, Belgium, Sweden, and USA. They're they just specifically going to the poor people and they're feeding them, especially during the winter now. And I got contact with them. I starting paying monthly, so money goes to those people. And I sent them an email yesterday that I'm doing this work for this cancer charity on the 20th of August, how they can organize this to contact those big companies in these countries that they know, especially Afghanis, that how much money they can raise for me, that I do the work and put that one include of my work as well, to raise money in both ways, one for the Victoria Promise and also for those people that they can go and help the poor people in Afghanistan. And I'm excited and I'm really happy to do that. And to me, giving and helping it's part of my life. And if I don't do it, I'm sad. And what you said before, what makes you happy? What makes me happy is small thing, doing for people and just saying good things to them. It makes me happy. And I think it's really important. It doesn't matter what we do. It's best to give and help in any way we can. Just say thank you to someone is very, very important. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, brother. I appreciate it. All right, guys. I think it's about that time, almost at the end. So here is my book for the week. Again, it is short, like 130 pages, right? I read this book a long time ago for the first time, and it got me interested in mindfulness. This is called The Miracle of Mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh. I'm probably saying his name wrong, but I don't personally know him, so he's not going to get offended. But this book right here, incredible book, and it's an easy read. And mindfulness is a kind of a broad term, you know what I mean? But in there, he gives these super basic examples of things that we can do to practice mindfulness. Like, for example, one is when you're washing dishes, for example. Don't be somewhere else in your head. Don't think about what you should be doing or what you have to do. He goes, just wash your dishes. Like, feel the water on your hands, feel the way the plate feels in your hand, whatever it is, right? And it's got these simple examples in there that we can do to just bring us into the present moment, right? Appreciate whatever it is that we're doing, you know? I don't mind washing dishes. I think washing dishes is kind of relaxing, you know? But there's just little innocuous tasks that we might take for granted. And, you know, you could be grateful, dude. Like, sometimes I didn't have water, right? Or didn't have some place to be washed. I didn't have food to put on the plate sometimes, you know, and that was all because of my own making, but still getting an opportunity to do that today, you know, you find gratitude in all the little stuff. So, all right, man, I think that's all we have for today. Super, super grateful, man, for you guys investing your time to be in this space with all of us on our call, man. I really appreciate it. Humbled. Thank you.
Look at them all bowing to you.
No, that's our thing. We bow to each other, man.
Now
This
we're
is
doing
this is like the universal sign of awesomeness, Curls.
You know, you have the om, but now you have the hum.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to stay away from that. That shit will get you in trouble.
Guys, thank you so much for coming here, participating, sharing, and yeah, let's have this party again in 2 weeks' time. Yeah,
We'll do
you
it.
guys are all coming back.
Do something for
Promise?
someone else. Do something for someone else.
Yes.
You got 2 weeks. Just take a minute and do it, man. You'd be
Yeah,
grateful.
and it's so easy. It's
so
easy.
easy. That's
Yeah.
right. Thanks, girls. Thanks, everybody. Have an awesome
Thank you,
day.
Danny. Keep being awesome.